What's up, everybody, and welcome to a Saturday edition of The Squeeze. I am Tyler Connie, and you might have noticed a different intro video to start the show. So a little inside baseball, the original theme that I'd been using for the past 8 months. If you're an All Elite Wrestling AEW fan, that was the theme music for MJF, their heavyweight champion of the world. I always thought it was cool that he just used sort of royalty-free music. Shout out to AEW, All In tomorrow at Wembley Stadium. My wife, and if you're a fan, my wife and I were actually ringside for the first ever All In 2018 in Chicago. Their second All In is tomorrow at Wembley Stadium in London. So it's really cool progression if you're a professional wrestling fan and an AEW fan, which I am, but wanted to change it up a little bit. The graphic needs to change with Twitter being X now, and then with the ticker along the bottom, like you've got NBA over there, and that's last season. So even though the 2023 stats I'm going to keep the same, I need to reset the NBA when the new season starts. I think that makes the most sense there. So we will do that. I was off yesterday. No video yesterday. Our daycare was closed. My wife was at work, so it was daddy daycare day, and it was awesome. It was so much fun. Love those days. But no video yesterday. We're completely still even on the week. So we've had a 1-1 day. We've had a 2-2 day. We've had a 1-1 day. Going back to Wednesday, we hit both of the WNBA bets, lost baseball, lost CFL. So I've lost 6 CFL bets in a row. Oops. Hopefully we can rebound today with that. But let's get into it. Actually, before I do, link in the description to hop in the Discord channel. That is the best way to support this channel. And also, obviously, this, in that corner there. If you like what I'm doing, it's always free. If you have a friend that you might be into sports betting, let them know. Hit the subscribe button. And I much appreciate that. Everything that I do is always free. Okay, first bet of the day is in the CFL. It's the BC Lions. It's the Hamilton Tiger Cats. I've got the BC Lions. Now, keep in mind, I've lost 5 straight CFL bets. But I've got the BC Lions -10 for -110 at DraftKings. So the BC Lions come into this game. They've lost 2 of their last 3 games, but they do remain undefeated at home at BC Place. Hamilton is likely to have rookie quarterback Taylor Powell onto center again, as Bo Levi Mitchell and Matthew Schultz are both out with injuries. He has not thrown a touchdown pass in any of his 3 starts this season. This game will be the first of the 2 meetings between these 2 teams this year. And look, the Tiger Cats they're not the BC Lions. The Lions are arguably, especially after the Montreal game this week, I would say that the BC Lions are the 3rd best team in the CFL behind Winnipeg and behind Toronto. I think BC is going to bounce back in a big way after the loss last week. Vernon Adams Jr., his status is a little bit up in the air, but I just don't think it's going to matter that much. I don't think the Tiger Cats are playing inspired inspired football. I don't think they're playing confident football, and I think that BC could really run away with this game. So even though it's 10, again, especially in football, I like round numbers with the push potential. It's a little bit different in the CFL where you have different ways to score points and things of that nature, but I like the touchdown and the field goal here, that being a push. So I'm going to take the BC Lions -10. That's -110 at DraftKings. Shifting to the WNBA, you've got the Las Vegas Aces, they've won 2 straight games, but it hasn't been as convincing as they've won earlier, but they do have a nice matchup here, even though it's on the road against the Washington Mystics. So Vegas is coming into this 30-4. They seem like they're maybe a little bit bored, but they're still 19-15 against the spread this season, and they're facing Washington, who's 15-18, and they're only 13-19 against the spread. So when you look at Vegas's last 2 games, they beat Chicago by 7, they beat Atlanta by 12. Previous to that, they lost to the Sparks. That was kind of a weird loss there. And they beat New York in a bit of a revenge game. And then you've got Washington, who comes into this losers of 2 straight. They lost by 4 against Connecticut and by 13 against Dallas. So I like the Las Vegas Aces here. The spread is -10.5. Essentially even money. It's -106 at FanDuel, and I like this bet. So these teams have played just once this season. It was in August. It was on the 11th, so about 2 weeks ago. Vegas crushed them 113-89. And I think, we're starting to get this push towards the playoffs here. So even though the Aces are 1-4 ATS in their last 5 games overall, you're starting to hear the rumblings, like, is Becky Hammond sort of losing the the hold of this team a little bit. I know Candace Parker's been hurt. Is AJ Wilson, kind of, they're getting lazy, which I don't think this team wants to have. The Mystics are 0-7 ATS in their last 7 games against the Western Conference, and they're 1-6-1 ATS in their last 8 games overall. So both these teams are, I don't want to say Vegas is struggling because they've 30-4. They're struggling to crush teams, which they've been doing earlier in the season. But Washington is playing poorly as well, so I think they're also dealing with some injuries. You got Cloud, who's questionable with an injury. You've got Del Don, who's questionable with a hip, which would be a big loss for them. She's been out for 4 days. Let's see what's the report on her. No details there. Then you've got Tolliver, who's out until early September. So Washington struggling with the injuries. Give me Vegas here to cover the spread. Minus 10.5 for minus 106 at FanDuel. And the last bit of the day, we're going to move over to Major League Baseball. You've got the damn Seattle Mariners, who I'm betting on but rooting against here because the Blue Jays, I couldn't even bring myself to wear the Jays hat today because they are an infuriating team. But you've got the Seattle Mariners, who are at home against the Kansas City Royals, and they're going up against Jordan Lyles. I like the Mariners on the run line here today, so by 2 runs or more for minus 105 at BetRivers. On the season, the Mariners are 68-60 to the run line, and then you've got the Royals, who are 53-77 to the run line. That is really, really bad. Like, we've been talking a lot about the Oakland A's being a bad baseball team this year. The Royals are brutal. They're 41-89. They're playing this game on the road. You've got the Mariners, who have won 7 of the last 10 games against the Royals, including they played most recently the 15th, 16th, and 17th of this month. And it was a sweep by the Mariners. They won 10-8, 6-5, and 6-4. You've got Kansas City, who's 3-7 in their last 10, and Seattle, who is surging at the right time, especially in the wild card race. They're 8-2 in their last 10 baseball games, and they're coming off a loss yesterday a couple days ago against the White Sox. So I like their odds here against Kansas City. And again, you've got Jordan Lyles, who in his last 5 starts, he's 2-3 with an ERA of 4.4. He did actually just go 8 innings, and he only gave up 4 runs. But Jordan Lyles on the season this year, he's 3-14 with an ERA of 6.2. He's going up against Logan Gilbert for the Mariners. His last 5 games, he's only 4-1 with an ERA of 2.2. He's coming off 6 innings against the Astros and a win. He gave up 2. Previous to that was actually a start against Kansas City where he pitched poorly. He went 4 1/3 and gave up 4 to these Royals. So I like for him to bounce back here in a big way because the start before that was against the Padres. He went 7 innings, 12 strikeouts, 0 earned runs. So I like the Mariners to win this game. They lost yesterday. The Royals are terrible. Give me the Seattle Mariners on the run line for minus 105 at BetRivers. Once again, hop in the Discord. Link is in the description below to continue that discussion. And I appreciate all the people that are watching these videos. Your rundown again for today. Give me the BC lines to cover minus 10 for minus 110 at DraftKings. Give me the Las Vegas Aces to also cover minus 10.5. That's minus 106 at FanDuel. Give me the Seattle Mariners on the run line, minus 105 at BetRivers. As always, drop a comment if you're fading or following. Your audio is on Apple and on Spotify. You can follow me across all my social channels linked in the description. Let's talk sports. Have a great Saturday.